Hello everybody, this is PJ Web Dev, and in this video I'm gonna show you how you can connect Airtable to your WordPress website so you can manage the content of your WordPress website from the spreadsheet instead of WordPress admin panel. And we're gonna use to connect all of this the Integromat application. Let's get started. Okay, so in order to make it all work, we need three elements: Airtable, Integromat, and WordPress website. And we're gonna start from Airtable, where we're gonna create a table that we will call pages. And we're gonna have content of pages in this table, and we're gonna be changing the content here, and this content will change on our WordPress website. So first let's create a structure of that table, and the structure is gonna be name, which is gonna be the name of our page. Then let's remove these default columns. Another column will be content, and we will make it long text, and we will enable rich formatting. And another column will be our WordPress ID, which is going to be our ID of our page in WordPress, and this is going to be number. Okay, let's make it integer. And then we're going to create modified time column. This is going to be the time and date of last modification. We're going to need it for Integromat to know that something has changed in that table. And we're going to track all editable fields to update this value if any of the fields in the table changed. So the name of the column will be about. So we're going to be update. This is going to be information about our about page. Content, it's going to be just content from our website, and this is currently our about page. So I'm going to copy all that content and I'm going to update it in Airtable. Okay, and now we need to check what's the page ID of this page. So we're going to go to edit, and the ID of that page is 10. So we're going to update this in here. I can see we have a mistake here, so because we have the type of last modified by, and this has to be last modified time, and now we have the time of the last modification. So this is the structure of Airtable database, and we could create other pages, but for the moment we only gonna use the about page. So now let's start building the Integromat scenario. So in Integromat I'm going to create a new scenario, and I'm going to start adding modules here, and I'm going to start from Airtable, and I'm going to choose watch records module, and this is my Airtable connection. If you don't have a connection, you will need to add an authorized Integromat with your Airtable. Now I need to choose the database that I'm going to be using for content, and then the table is pages, and the trigger field is modified time because that's what Integromat required, and the limit of records tag is default 10, and we can leave it like this, and we click OK. We actually need to select label field. We can choose name here. And we're going to track modification from now on. So any records that has been modified from now on in Airtable are going to, Integromat's going to take the content from them, and we will be able to do whatever we want with that information. So that's correct. Let's click OK. And we're going to add another module now, which is WordPress. And we're going to choose update a post because we're going to be updating website. And again, I have already connection configured here, but if you don't, you need to click add and then add your Integromat key to the connection. But before you can create a connection, you need to install Integromat connector in your WordPress website, you just add a new plugin, so it's in plugin libraries. This connector will have a key that you will need to enter here when you click add to create Integromat connection with WordPress. Now we need to choose the type of content we're going to be updating. In this case it's pages, and the post ID is going to be our WordPress ID. We're going to be updating content, which is in our Airtable content field. Then we click OK, and then as an option you can also send an email at the end of that process once the page has been updated. I usually use Mailjet, and then now we'll choose send a message module, and then we're going to send text message, for example page, and then we'll choose name has been updated. Click here to check, and I can enter the URL to this page. Okay, and that is it. Now we can save it, and then if we were running this scenario in production, we would just schedule this scenario to run at regular intervals, for example once a day, a few times a day. It is quite flexible. I wouldn't do it every 15 minutes or every 5 minutes because I don't think it's necessary to run this scenario that often, but because this is just a tutorial, I'm not even gonna switch that on, and I'm just gonna run this scenario manually. So here we are on an about page, and now let's try to modify some content on it in Airtable. And in order to update this information in WordPress, we just need to run this scenario and then check our WordPress website. Let's refresh it. As you can see, we have information. This is additional content here. Okay, and if you wanted to do this on other pages, for example on contact page, we would just need to add contact page here and the current content and WordPress ID, and then we could manage all of these content pages from Airtable instead of WordPress admin panel. Also, as you can see, I received an email that page about has been updated, and then I can click on that link and check if the content of the page has been updated. Now let's look at a little bit more advanced scenario, and we're going to be updating a list of products on our website. In order to do this, we need to create a new table in Airtable, and we're going to call it products. And now we're going to create the fields. So the name is going to be the name of our product, and then we want a short description, which is like an excerpt, which is going to be a long text. This description is going to appear on the list of products, and now we want the description of the product, and again this is long text and rich formatting. Now we want an image, which is going to be attachment. We also need the WordPress ID, and last modified time for all editable fields. Okay, so this is a table ready. Now let's populate this with some information about our products. So here I've added 3 products. I'm going to leave WordPress ID empty because this field is going to be automatically populated by Integromat after the product has been added to the WordPress website for the first time. Also, I'm going to use a custom post type in WordPress, and one important thing to remember when using custom post type is to add show in REST true when you define your custom post type in functions PHP in your WordPress installation. Otherwise, you will not see your custom post type in Integromat, so you won't be able to select it and update it. Okay, so let's start building our new scenario in Integromat. So again, we're going to choose Airtable as our first module and watch records. We're going to choose the same database, and this time our products table, modified time as a trigger field, and name as a label. We click OK. Yes, we want to watch for our updates from now on. Because we have an image associated with our product, we need to upload this image first to our WordPress website. And in order to upload this image to our WordPress, we need to first use HTTP module in Integromat and get a file from image URL from Airtable, and then we can choose WordPress and create a media item in WordPress. Then we can just map it the data and the file name from HTTP module, and that will upload the image from Airtable to WordPress. Because we not only want to create these product pages, but we also want to update them. We need a router in Integromat. And the way this is going to work is, if we already have a WordPress ID in Airtable, we are going to update the record. And if we don't have WordPress ID, we are going to create a new WordPress page. And then we're going to use the ID of that newly created page and update it in Airtable. So next time we can just update instead of creating another one. That's why we need two different paths, one to create, one to update, and router in Integromat will split and decide, will split the flow into these two different flows. We also need to set up a filter. So let's say this is going to be our create flow, and the condition for this filter is going to be that our WordPress ID does not exist. And the second flow will be update, and condition will be that our WordPress ID exists. So if our WordPress ID doesn't exist in the table, we will create WordPress post, and the title of the post is going to be the name of our products, the content is going to be the description, the type is going to be products, and the excerpt is going to be our short description, and the state is going to be published. We want to publish it immediately. Now once the post is created, once the page is created in WordPress, we need to update Airtable. We're going to update a record in Airtable with the WordPress page ID we just created. Our record ID is going to be ID in our Airtable, and our WordPress ID field is going to be updated with post ID, and we click OK. And then at the end, again, we can send an email. Okay, but another scenario will be when we already have WordPress ID and we just want to update this page. So we choose WordPress module and then update a post. Type products, post ID, it's going to be WordPress ID, title, it's going to be name, content, description, excerpt, short description, and status publish. And then again send an email at the end. Okay, so this is our scenario ready. So here it is, our WordPress website, and this is the product page. And as you can see, there is nothing here, and we want to update this 3 products on the website. So let's just run the Integromat scenario we've just built. Okay, so there are no records because I think we've built this scenario after we added the product, so we just need to update, make some simple updates on our products for the modified time to change. Now this should trigger the flow in our Integromat scenario. So let's try running the scenario again. As you can see, we have some numbers here, so it means this module run 3 times for the 3 records, and the same in this create flow. We have 3, 3, 3. That means all of these modules have been run 3 times. And as you can see, we also have a WordPress ID populated here. Products, refresh. And as we can see, we have the products updated, product 1, 2, 3. We have the same image for all of them, which I'm not sure why. I will investigate it and take a look in more details, and if I have any updates, I will post an update in the comments, or maybe even record an entire new video. But as you can see, we have all the product and descriptions, and if you want to modify, let's say, description for product 1, we just need to go to Airtable and update the content, and then run the Integromat scenario, which will be automatically run in regular intervals, but for the purpose of this tutorial I'm running it manually. And if we go on a page and refresh, it updates here. That is really it. This is how you integrate. You can integrate Airtable with WordPress using Integromat, which in a lot of situations is much more convenient for the user to use it. So if I want somebody else to manage that content, they can much more easier update this content from the spreadsheet like this, rather than from the WordPress admin panel. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, if you like it or if you don't like it. And otherwise, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye. Okay, so this is a quick update to the issue with images we had with WordPress, and as you can see, I have now correct images. And the issue was that in Integromat, the file name, we had file name from the HTTP module, but unfortunately the file name is always the same, which is file.jpg. And that's why each file uploaded was in WordPress overwritten, and that's why you could only see the last uploaded image. So instead we need to use ID from Airtable.jpg as a file name in WordPress, and that's and then each file will be uploaded to WordPress with unique name, and then the correct images will appear on their website because they won't be overwritten. So I just want to record a quick update to this issue, so you know how to resolve it. Thank you again for watching, and see you again soon. Bye bye.